Hey guys, it's Woody Unexceptional Gamer. How you doing? I'm doing good. I'm doing really good, and I'll tell you why. So here's the story. About a week ago on Painkiller Already, I talked a little bit about internet haters, and I described them as weak people. And in their heads, in their twisted little minds, they think to themselves, I'm not afraid to say what I think on the internet. But in my reality, saying what you think on the internet does not make you brave. It does not make you notable. It doesn't make you anything but a freaking troll. And I'm not the least bit impressed by people whose hobby is finding flaws, real or imagined, in other people. So there's this one internet troll, obviously Jesus, who said, you know what? I'd like to beat Woody up in real life. I'd like to do that. Now, mind you, I didn't come after him. I never mentioned his name. This guy has been talking about, like, calling my son horrible names. He's been talking about raping my wife and my daughter non-stop. And I just didn't talk to him, right? Because what this guy is really about, what really drives him, it's just subs and views, subs and views. And I don't really have a problem with that. I mean, you can go off subs and views. I'm fine. You're good to go. These YouTube channels can be like little businesses, and if he's trying to fund his next vacation out west or whatever the hell he's doing, then fine. Do your thing. But what's not good is when you base your whole channel on hurting other people, especially my children. And that's really become the drive of what he does on Twitter and what he does with his channel all the time. You know, someone will say, I remember one time someone was like, you know, I've got some black video, like with nothing to fill it. What should I do? He's like, how about you stick Woody's retarded and son in there? That's not cool. That's not nice. But that's lightweight for this guy. Here he is saying, Woody, can I rape your wife after I beat you in Boston? I'm sure that won't be that traumatizing compared to what I do to you. What a sweetheart of a guy, right? Now, I'm sure this is based on that misquote from Painkiller Already. But still, like, you need to know what this guy is. You need to know what he's about. He's just a troll, right? He'll say anything. He'll do anything. And you think to yourself, well, wait a minute. Maybe he has some inner meaning. Maybe he has something going on in his head. Maybe he has a valid point. He doesn't have a point. All he wants to do is find some way to benefit off of other people's pain. That's how this guy is built. And I should perhaps take a minute to explain his side of the argument, if you can call it an argument. Like, I've never spoken to this guy, never asked for any of this. This is just something that he's completely invented and done while I look the other way. This is what he says. He says, it is okay to share your life and to share your personal experiences and thoughts on YouTube, because he does that too. He says it is okay to put ads on your videos, because he does that too. It is okay to share personal things and put ads on those videos, because he does that too. But what's not okay is to put an advertisement for a little, like, paper toss game for an iPhone on a video that has my son on it, right? He acts as if that is some sort of giant, you know, child exploitation issue. And it's not, right? Of course, anybody who's thinking can see how ridiculous that is. But, you know, it's the excuse he uses to say horrible things about my son's disability or raping my wife and my daughter, and to go, you know, anywhere with this, right? There's really no limit to what this guy will say or do. He's trying to get as low as he possibly can. And I want you guys to keep in mind, like, I wasn't going anywhere with this, right? Like, you know, I didn't want to take this public. I didn't call him out. I didn't do anything like that. But he did this. He tweeted at me saying that he's an adult and he would like to meet me in the octagon. And make no mistake, I feel a little bit guilty about how lopsided this fight would be. Even though this guy has been talking about raping my wife and kids for ages. Even this guy has been talking about, you know, my son being retarded, which he's not, by the way, or just, I don't know, the nastiest, most horrible things that you can think of. I still feel a little guilty about the fact that this fight is a total mismatch. That he doesn't belong in the same octagon as I do. So, here's what happened. So he said that he would fight me at PAX East. So the first thing I did is I wrote to Joe Lozon, because Joe Lozon has an octagon. And I was like, man, you know, can we mix it up in your octagon? Can we do our thing? And he's like, you know, grappling only. And I'm like, no, striking too, because there's a lot of satisfaction in just beating a guy senseless with your hands. And Joe was like, no, you can't do it. You know, that's essentially an unsanctioned fight. I'm like, no, dude, you do striking in that same octagon every day. Just consider it a training match. And he's like, no, I've been involved in training matches that have showed up on the front page of the Boston Herald. Not been involved, like been present at. And he's like, we can't do that at my octagon. It has to be grappling only. So I was like, all right. All right, so then I ran it by this guy, obviously Jesus, and said, hey, if it's grappling only, are you still in? And he says, whatever rules, I'm fine. Grappling works for me as much as anything. But I don't live in some kind of fantasy world in which obviously Jesus is anything but a sissy, right? And I just want to make that clear. This fight isn't actually going to happen, not because of me. I will be there. I will be there. I will be in this octagon, and I will be excited to fight. But because of, obviously, Jesus, right? He's not actually tough. He's not actually impressive. In real life, this guy is, I feel for him because he's lonely, he's sad, he's suicidal, he doesn't really have much going on, and he's struggling in his life right now, which is probably why he's picking on me so much. I think he just dropped out of college. I watched his videos. He didn't say that exactly, but I guess he's going on some sort of trip, which is also, an informer to the fact that he's not going to go to this thing, right? He's not going to be at PAX East because he's traveling out west somewhere, I predict. And he's done this before. I know he challenged another YouTuber to an in real life fight. And then when that guy accepted, he started saying that he was going to sue him if he came anywhere near him. This is who this guy really is. He's actually a wimp, right? He doesn't have anything going on in terms of like pride or machismo or honor. What he does instead is he attacks disabled children, women, healthy children over the internet in an effort to get some sort of money in terms of views and subs. That's what drives this guy. And, like I explained before, he's tried to make some sort of point that the reason he insults my child daily and calls him retarded and compares him to his bowel movements is that he actually loves him somehow and wants to, protect him, but it doesn't take a whole lot of IQ to see right through what he's actually saying, right? Nothing, right? It's just crazy. The truth behind this guy is he's a horrible, evil person, and the world would be better if he got himself a goddamn ass kicking. And that's a service that I offer. For those that don't know, I'm a pretty well-versed fighter. And, I'm not acting like I'm the world's toughest guy or anything. But I've done some training, and I am more than capable of handing this guy's ass to him. I am more than capable. Anything that happens in this octagon will be what I decide should happen. That's how it will go. Nothing is going to happen that he hopes will happen. And, I've been on both sides of that. I've fought pros before. I've trained with pros. I haven't actually fought pros. Don't let me kid you. But, I've been in fights where nothing that I try to do actually works out. And that's the experience that he's going to have. That's exactly how it's going to go down. So I hope he shows. I predict that he won't. I predict that he'll find some excuse to be the person he actually is, incredibly cowardly, and he'll back down. That's what's really going to happen. I don't live in a fantasy world where he somehow grows a set of balls. That's never going to happen. But I do live in a world where I'm more than happy to accept his challenge. Keep in mind, he's an adult. He's slightly bigger than me. He's slightly heavier than me. And he came after me. There is not a reason in the world that this guy, who has been attacking my wife and kids for months while I look the other way, and then comes after me and says he wants to have an in real life fight in an octagon, there's not a reason in the world why I shouldn't say, okay, you asked for it, you got it. So, obviously, Jesus, you goddamn piece of shit, you asked for it, you got it. Now let's see what you've got. Let's see if you're half the man you think you are. Let's see if you can show, because I'm betting that you wimp out. All right, if you like the video, be sure to click on like. If you're new around here and you like the video, you can click on subscribe in the top right. 2 videos you may have missed. The top one is a game battles match I had with T-Mart. We played a team who was really quite good and did our best against them. The bottom one is Painkiller Already, episode 82. As I record this, the episode hasn't even happened yet. So I don't know if it sucked or if it was awesome. But let's hope for awesome, and have a good night.